welcome to another art talk. Today I am going to be talking about the TV Club shirts that I have made. I am wearing one that's fairly worn out at this point, and I cropped it kind of poorly. But I wanted to talk to you about the meaning behind the artwork on it and what it's all about. So in college, I was introduced to the Super Smash Bros. Melee community. There is a competitive community around Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I'm just going to refer to as Melee from now on. Some of the people in my dorm played Melee and were in the Melee community previously and brought their setups, so a CRT and a GameCube or a Wii, into the dorm's common room and kind of got most of the rest of the floor in on this game. A lot of people on the floor started going to Smash Club, which was a club specifically around playing Melee competitively. They would have weekly meetings where they would have tournaments, and some of the times they were more serious and some of the times they were more silly. So at the end of my freshman year is when I really started going to Smash Club, and I loved it. I ended up becoming an officer in my junior and senior year. My junior year, I was actually the president of the club, and then in my senior year, I was the public relations officer, so I was doing graphic design and social media for the club. At one point, one of my friends in the club, who was a previous president of the club as well, mentioned, I wonder if people ever think it's weird that we're carrying these CRTs everywhere. And if you don't know, CRTs are the old style TVs that are like big boxes. I think they have like tubes in them or something like that, but they're the big boxy TVs. As part of the club, we would carry these CRT TVs from someone's dorm room or someone's nearby apartment to where we were having the club meeting. The reason that we did this instead of just playing on monitors is because it would actually reduce the lag from an input on a controller to what you actually see on the screen. In more layman's terms, if you were to press a button on a controller and then see that thing that is supposed to happen when you press the button on the screen, you might expect it to be close to instantaneous. Any delay that happens between that would be considered lag. So there is more lag between you pressing a button and seeing the action on the screen if you were to play Melee on a monitor versus playing on a CRT TV. And if you're playing not competitively, you may not notice that lag, but at a competitive level of play, not my level of play, let me be clear, but at a competitive level of play, those milliseconds do matter. And so every week we would be carrying these CRT TVs from someplace to where our club was meeting. And I could imagine that it would look silly to other college students who had no idea what was going on. A bunch of students carrying these big bulky TVs for apparently no reason. So this friend then made the joke that if anyone was to ever ask him about why you were carrying TVs, just say that we're in TV Club. We just like TVs. That comment back in college sparked this design of TV Club. So the back design has a CRT TV with the words TV Club, and then the front is more minimalistic and just says we carry TVs because that is something that you do in TV Club. One of the fun things from making this design is that it was kind of picked up by the Smash Club. It wasn't made specifically for the Smash Club, but definitely for Smash people. And the Smash Club at my college has kind of picked up this shirt, and I was actually recognized at an entirely unrelated event in International District for Lunar New Year. One person who was browsing my booth stopped and said, "Wait, do you make these shirts? Like, I've seen this before." I said, "Yeah, I do." And they were like, "Do you know person?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." They're like, "Ah, cool. Like, yeah, I play Melee, da 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 da." It's kind of a fun little in-joke for the people who know. And aside from that, I think it's just a fun design as well. It's vague enough that you don't have to play Melee to understand it. And it also can actually apply to other retro games. I couldn't give you names, but I know I've heard that other retro games also use CRTs for competitive reasons, for the same reasons that Melee does, because of that input delay issue. So that's the story about the TV Club shirts. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe. I post videos related to art and being a smaller business every Monday. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.